service officers. I love working with those folks also. Uh, Speaking directly to those county veteran service officers, my contact information is here on this slide. We'd love to work with you on future outreach events, county fairs coming up. I know some socials, veterans events, and coming into the veteran season, like I call it, November and into the fall. So please get in touch with me, email me or call me at that extension, leave a voicemail, and we can try to work out an outreach event so I can bring some of the new material related to the new PACT Act and some of the other benefits going on right now. So with that, I'll open it up for online questions, and if there is any, I'll just take a seat.
Don't immediately see any questions, but I'm on call. Again, Mark will be here, so if those questions do arise, I know a lot of the veteran service officers are online or in that battle every day, filing claims for our veterans in the community. So Mark will be a great resource for you. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about a big event that we had a little under 2 weeks ago, our Centennial and Veteran Appreciation events. Get slides going here, maybe. Just trying to show where. All right, so again, we had our Centennial celebration and our Veterans Appreciation event on the 1st of June. Going to the next slide here. Yeah. Technical difficulties, folks. Everything's going to be all right. All right, there we go. So there's a lot of questions about marketing for these events, how that was accomplished. It was a great push by our public affairs and our community members. These are some of the items that we used for our marketing and branding. We had the poker chips and the hard coins, the business cards, the Centennial flyers, VIP invites went out to our congressional reps and senators' offices from our catchment area. 11 social media posts, I think was the official number, and countless number of phone calls throughout our community. And so what did that result in? That resulted in over 8,000 people on Chillicothe VA campus on June 1st. Almost 1,700 registered just through the Veterans Appreciation Night event, and 5,100 plus at the Chillicothe Paints baseball game that night. So that doesn't happen without the support of all of our stakeholders. And that's just a tremendous celebration opportunity for our facility, for our community, for our veterans and family members. So commemorative shirt, that's one of the main questions every year when we start planning Veterans Appreciation Night. What's our commemorative shirt going to look like? So for those that didn't get to join us, this was the color scheme, but we keep the same design because we got veterans out there that are collecting these shirts, which I wish I would have thought of because I've been with this all 16 years and I never thought, hey, save all these shirts and it'll make a really cool, frame or maybe even a quilt. I see Jamie looking at me and she's all about the quilts. So this was our design. Ohio Southeast, Jobs Ohio, one of our larger sponsors for the event. And so they jump in and cover some larger costs for us. So the paints were a commemorative jersey that night. The commemorative jersey was donated by, the funds were donated by
American Legion Post 62 and VFW Post 108.
American Legion Post 62 and VFW Post 108. They donated the funds to the paints to purchase these jerseys. Those jerseys were then auctioned off like right after the game. Like they were over the microphone telling them, pull the jersey off. So-and-so won this jersey. You got to give it to them. Some people didn't like that. They smelled a little weird, but that's okay because all those funds were then donated back to our voluntary service for next year's Veterans Appreciation Night. So that's a really cool fundraiser idea that I think we're going to keep going forward. So we kind of kicked off Centennial Week with an employee celebration day at the VA. And yes, the director got dunked several times. We had a big scavenger hunt, which our ladies there in the middle won the scavenger hunt, found all 29, I think they said, items they had to find for the scavenger hunt. I would have been horrible at that. So just a really good opportunity for us to get together as employees. We're all fighting the same battle every day of trying to figure out how we take care of our veterans in the best way possible. And so nice to enjoy a day like that with our team. We then had the historical museum and trolley tours, which might have been in contention for the biggest hit of the week. The trolley tours were packed full. Shout out to Dave Hawk and Norris Schultz. Getting our history museum set up, getting the trolley tours rolling. We also had Charlie Cottrell, a former employee, retired employee that brought his personal military static display out, which is a phenomenal display for an individual to own. So lots of great history, rave reviews on the trolley tours. And so that's, again, something that I absolutely want to keep going forward. We then had a retiree appreciation night. So it was an opportunity for us to bring back, we're celebrating 100 years. So let's bring back some staff that had a hand in some of those years. Some of the folks on this trolley tour that night had 40 plus years of service, some all with Chillicothe VA. So they were almost there for half of that 100, right? So they had a phenomenal evening. They got to hear from ex-director Keith Sullivan, who was also our honorary speaker at the Centennial main event ceremony. And so just a really cool night. They did the trolley tour and then they went over to the Paint Stadium and enjoyed ball game that night together. Kicked off Saturday morning with a 5K. I did not think a 5K was going to be this big a deal. My daughter is a runner. I am not. No, I didn't have to tell you that. But folks were really happy with this 5K. They're calling for us to do it again. We do have this 308 acres, beautiful campus. So it is an opportunity for us to utilize that campus and with these type of community involvement events. And so that medal there in the middle was given to those who finished the 5K. And so just a really cool, and to have that many people come out for a 5K at the Chillicothe VA when the city of Chillicothe was having their half marathon that morning. It's pretty impressive. 68, I think, is what they end up having for our 5K. So when you're competing with a larger event like the Chillicothe half marathon, that's a really cool turnout for that event. So again, something we're looking at keeping going with our events in the future. Eyes of Freedom display. So that's the Lima Company Memorial display. We had them on site Saturday. Top left here is the Huntington football team who comes out and supports us volunteering with the Veteran Appreciation event every year. And that is Miss Sarah there in the middle holding the boots. She's holding the boots of Aaron Reed, who is one of the soldiers who is memorialized on the Eyes of Freedom. So anytime that memorial is close to an area that she can retrieve his boots, she does that each time it's displayed. And so it was really nice to see her again. If you have not seen the Eyes of Freedom display, get on their website, see where they're going to be set up next, and make sure you get out to look to show your respect for them. Then we had a vintage baseball game. Didn't realize that they were using vintage balls and vintage bats and the whole nine. And so when the director told me he was going to throw out the first pitch and then they showed me the vintage ball, I was like, that's rough. But they had a really good time. The Worthingtons and the Muffins, they do this all around our area, all around Southeast Ohio. They actually had this game at 11 a.m. in Paint Stadium, and then they left and went out to Adena Mansion and Gardens and had a 3 o'clock game. So they really enjoy this. They're really competitive. And so it's just really cool to see folks keeping history alive in our communities. So this is part of it, especially for those of us that love baseball. At our main event ceremony, again, we had Mr. Keith Sutherland as our keynote speaker. Just a really cool turnout. We've never had a production stage, so thank you to Paul Pollard and the Jessica Theater Group for stepping forward and coming out, and we're working our sound for that event, setting up the stage. We had the Greenfield Cadets presenting our colors, and just a really nice opportunity to see our community members, Mayor Feeney out. Ms. Laura Ruzick, our business director, came out and just to share their experiences with the Chillicothe VA and what it's meant to them to see a milestone like 100 years reached for a facility caring for veterans, focused on caring for veterans, and so just a really, really nice opportunity to hear those stories for those that have been involved over the years. And then we had all kinds of festivities going on around the facility. This lady in the middle with her husband, that's Miss Deidre Stout. She actually designed the centennial coin. So the design you see on the poker chips and the hard coin, she submitted her idea to for an employee opportunity to do the design for that event. It was voted on by our employees, and she was selected as the coin design that we were going to move forward with. So she got presented coin 001 during the centennial ceremony. She was extremely, extremely happy with that. So great job, Deidre. We had our information booths. Mr. Mortimer made a comment that he's never seen them more packed. So that's all kinds of education going out to veterans and family members. We had our carnival games. We had the food trucks. We had, of course, the Hours of Freedom we talked about. Just a lot of activity going on, 8,000 plus folks on our campus that day. And it was nice to see the community come out and support it. We honored Mr. John Tepper with our Neil Miller Volunteer Appreciation Award in the pregame. Mr. Mortimer threw out the first pitch, different ball, same result. So well done by Mr. Mortimer, Greenfield Cadets on site all day. They presented the colors at 1 o'clock for the centennial ceremony, and then at 6:45-ish for the pregame for the paint. So they were on site all day, did a phenomenal job. Jobs Ohio giving some words about what it means to them to be involved with Chillicothe going forward. And then the ball game, and we don't lose on Veteran Appreciation Night, so they went out and run-rolled them and ended the night a little early. But we don't lose on Veteran Appreciation Night. They look sharp in their jerseys, and just a really cool way to end the week of activity at the VA. So this is an opportunity for anybody, especially those that were at the event, or maybe those that have some feedback on marketing and branding. This is a good opportunity to share that with the group at this time. Again, whether you want to type in the chat, come off mute, both of those are available. While everybody's thinking of that, I'm going to read a list of sponsors that helped with the activities of the event. And then Ms. Jamie's going to correct me when I miss somebody, because I'm going to, I promise you. So Elks Department of Ohio, VFW Post 3331, American Legion Post 376, Junction City, Miss Mary Miller, VFW Post 7941, American Legion Auxiliary Department of Ohio, American Legion Post 23, Ross County Veteran Service Council, VFW Post 3764, AMVETS Post 2256, Korean War Veteran Chapter 16, Eagles, Barry 600, Brian Wickline, First Capital Rep 22, Columbus Veterans Beneficial Board, Union Savings Bank, and the Veterans in Transition, and Randy Post. And then we had the credit union, Chillicothe Credit Union there at the VA. And Veterans in Transition also sponsored the post-game fireworks. I would have shared some pictures with you, but all the ones I took were horrible. And so I didn't want to put those up and get critiqued today. But the post-game fireworks that was sponsored by Veterans in Transition, that's the group that runs the VA golf course at the facility. it might have been like top 3 best fireworks I've ever seen. I thought I was at Red, White, and Boom. So they did a phenomenal job. Our VA fire department was on site and keeping everything safe, making sure that that it didn't disturb or set anything on fire, because there's fire in those pretty close to the maze house. So we want to make sure we're protecting our historical resources. But just so thank you to that group. Thank you to all the sponsors. As you see, it takes a tremendous amount of community involvement for us to be able to pull an event like that off. So we just thank you so much for that. Any questions online, Tom?
Sir.
Nothing to go. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Tom. Let him talk a little bit about some facility outreach functions ongoing, and then we'll open the floor for any additional questions.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Vega. I'm standing in for Mr. Alan Graves, who is hopefully at home enjoying some time with his new baby boy. Got a couple of things coming up at the facility. I'll go over first. Of course, we just went over, we had the Centennial event. We covered down on Portsmouth Pride and Pride Around Town Circleville. PTSD Awareness Month is going on. We're gonna have a cookout today. It should be going on right now. And then, yes, man, my days are off. One thing I do know for sure is that the ice cream social will be Friday, and I'm looking forward to that. So if you're in the area, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., come out and see us and enjoy some ice cream. I will definitely be there. So, as part of our efforts to get out into the community and engage folks, been hard at it getting fairs and festivals lined up. And while we can't make it to every one of our 16 counties, I'm doing my best to get as many as I can on the books. Coming up in July so far is Jackson County and Benton County. And then August is Ross, Meigs, and Scioto counties. So more to follow on that. I'm getting new ones on the schedule every day, and hopefully we'll see you out in some of those events. And before I hand it off, I want to share a real brief story. Terry and I were riding up to go do a radio show yesterday, and I got a phone call from a Marine who I had no idea who he was or how I met him. But in his message, he said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so, former Marine, need help with VA benefits, and somebody gave me your information and told me you were the person to talk to." So word is getting out there. All right, this guy is from well north of Columbus, and it's a good feeling to know that somebody passed that information over and has the trust to say, "Hey, this guy will take care of you." So we are hard at it, and if we got to do it one vet at a time, then that's what we'll do.
So we've struggled for years to figure out how to share stakeholders meeting information with everybody. And the light bulb finally turned on for us. And so I'm going to put this link in the chat. This link is to a public facing webpage that meeting recordings and any presentation slides will be uploaded to. So you'll be able to go to this forward facing SharePoint and click on any of the month's previous recordings or presentation slides. If you need more information on APO, any of our outreach functions, anything like that, you'll have the contacts in there so you can be able to pull that pretty quickly. So instead of me trying to fill your email boxes up and it not working and rejecting most of it because of limits, we'll have this public facing page to make sure that you have that information. Now, I'm going to asterisk that with today's recording. It did not start immediately. So I think we missed about the first 8 minutes of it or so, which is okay. We will continue to get better. So with that said, again, I'll put this link in the chat, and that way you will have that. There'll also be an email coming out to those that weren't able to join us today, so everybody will have this information. So with that said, open the floor up for any questions, either in the room or online. Buzzard, you got a question? All right, thanks for saving us, Buzzard.
Hey, Terry, it's just one. I'm another Hey, Terry, it's Ken. Can you hear me?
We can now, sir.
Hello. Okay. So I want to make one other comment that I think is important, and one person who didn't get thanked in the course of everything else is Terry McQuirk. When he became my EA, one of the first things he asked is, "Hey, sir, I'd like to keep the Veteran Appreciation Night. It's a big deal for me." And I said, "Sure." What I didn't realize is the amount of blood, sweat, tears, heart, soul, and everything else that that Terry would be putting into it. So, as he's thanking everybody else, as is his custom, I don't think we should lose sight of the fact that Terry McQuirk was probably one of the most invested people in that event, and I want to personally thank him in as public a setting as I can, and he knows it. So thank you, Terry, for all you put into the Veteran Appreciation Night.
Thank you, sir. All right, Buzzard has a question.
There's a news report that just came out that the VA's budget was going to be cut, and they were going to lose 100,000 or 150,000 employees. I don't know if anybody's been aware of it or not, but whether it's true or not is another issue with our news media and their structures today. You never know what to believe or what not to believe, but I, as well as all the people in here, seen the results when Wilkerson said that we was going to shut down the VA in Chillicothe. Of course, everybody panicked, as it were. So that leads me to my question is, on the gold team, I've been without Dr. Hawker now for pushing 2 years. There's a lot of individuals on the team that's not been happy that we haven't been able to find somebody that'll take us. You know, rejection's a terrible human emotion to go through. I reckon we're gonna have to get counseling to survive this. I don't know. But you got that facility available. There's a doctor there then, isn't there? But that's my question, in the twofold, have you heard anything about the budget cut? And have you, got any news for the gold team? Cause it's the same question I've asked for some time now. We get a doctor and you don't stay very long or whatever, so maybe there's somebody here who can shed light on that.
Thank you, Buzzard.
Hey,
So-
Terry, I can take that one.
Yep, go for it, sir.
I can answer that. All right. So, second question first. Sounds to me like a ton of selection paperwork for providers, particularly for primary care. So while I can't speak to whether the gold team is one of those, I know for a fact that we are really pushing to fill all of our primary care positions there. And I know if you've got Adam, Patty, and Dr. Houston in the room, they can give you specifics. But we absolutely are not stopping the music when it comes to our providers. We know that that's the only way that we actually deliver care. So let me give you that one. And the second thing is, Buzzard, you're not wrong on the sort of VA intent. You're just wrong on the number. So in the president's budget, which is by no means the final budget, there was a proposal that VA would reduce through attrition its head count. This is VA nationally by about 10,000, not 100,000, not 150,000, 10,000. That's out of an agency right now that has 450,000 employees. And that's through attrition. So not through reduction in force, not through anything like that. It is trying to do that through what we would consider to be natural attrition. And yes, that will have some impact on Chillicothe. I don't know what that is. My assumption is that it will be sort of spread out, 10,000 across VBA, 10,000, some proportion of that will go to the benefits, the cemeteries, the staff offices, and the Veterans Health Administration. And then that'll be spread out across, 152 VA facilities. So we don't know what the actual impact on Chillicothe is, but I'm comforted by the fact that we, even now where we're trying to hold our FTE by the end of the year at where we started the year, we're still plus 26 FTE. So, and when I got here and you remember I was presenting at these meetings, we increased by close to 10% during fiscal year 2023, our headcount. So we're still, even with some proportion of that 10,000 FTE decrease, we're still going to be well above where we were at the time, or where we were, probably even when I started. So when I look at that impact, and again, I said this in my opening remarks, we got to do more with the more we have, because we're blessed with support of Congress, with the support of VHA, with the support of you all to be able to do that. And our provider hiring is one of those things that we are looking at. We've got I think a dermatologist force. So we're not we're actually having people come to us inquiring about opportunities. So I'm not real worried about that decrease because it is agency wide. And it's a little too soon to get too anxious about that. My goal is to make sure that everybody is fully contributing to the mission, and where we have opportunities to improve our efficiency, we want to do that. I see Dr. Houston has the microphone, so I'm going to let her talk now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Houston. I go by Becky. It's my first name. Pleasure. Thank you for bringing up about Dr. Hawker. I am happy to report he is not gone. He did not retire.
He's not what?
He's not gone.
Well, I know he's still in the facility.
I
He's
know,
working,
and
he's
this
working
gives
with
me-
the out.
Yeah, this gives me the opportunity to let you know about a program that some of you may not be aware of, and it's called home-based primary care. Dr. Hawker is the provider, is the physician for that team. We see all the counties that we take care of here in Ohio, plus a scattered few in Kentucky and maybe one or two in West Virginia. Home-based primary care has a whole team. So you guys come into the VA, you see your primary care team, and there's a social worker, there's different people who interact with you. For home-based primary care, the team comes to the veteran. These are for our veterans who find it very difficult to get out to a CBOC or to the mothership, as we like to call it, okay? We have a PA, a physician assistant, and we have 3 nurse practitioners. We have 3 social workers. We have dedicated pharmacists. We have support staff. We have 3 physical therapists, 3 physical therapy assistants. So we're able to provide physical therapy in the home. So you don't have to go next door or down the street or drive all the way to Chillicothe to get your physical therapy. We have a respiratory therapist on staff. Just that whole dietitians, we have dedicated dietitians, and we all come out to the home, not all at the same time, thank goodness, but to take care of those veterans who are unable to make it into the VA. So Dr. Hawker is alive and well. I work with him closely every day, so he's still here. The happy news for you, Buzzard, is that we have 7 providers coming starting July 15th. Okay? I'm sure you'll find one. I know Dr. Hawker's very, very special. He just has that special connection with people. He likes to listen. He loves people and he loves our veterans. Okay? As Mr. Mortimer said, this decrease in staff will not happen by reduction in force. We are learning to work smarter with the people that we have. We have not television, stuff available. I mean, literally tell us everything, everything, literally everything. So we are working hard to provide care for our veterans. One thing I don't know if you're aware of, and I hope I'm not giving the wrong numbers, is we love our veterans. And I think about a third of our staff is veterans, like 33%, if I'm not mistaken. That's the last I heard. So we hire veterans. So we not only want to take care of veterans, we have veterans taking care of veterans. And there's no one, Mark can tell you that, there's no one like a veteran to take care of a veteran. We encourage people to come to the VA for their care. Yes, we provide care in the community, and it's VA care because we pay for it. But we really feel that we take the best care of our veterans, okay? So try not to worry about what's not here yet. And like you said, they wanted to close Chillicothe VA, and the people spoke, okay? The people spoke loudly. So try not to worry about what's not there yet. We're working hard to stay here and we want to take care of you. That's
My point was that the news media, embellished.
Hey, Dr.
everything.
Buzzard, can I interject for just 1 second?
Sure.
Sure. I want to interject one other thing. One mention, actually, the stakes are, really are for stakeholders. And I want to acknowledge the presence of Mike Diner from Adina Healthcare, who's on the line with us. I think it's important that not only are you all sharing, feedback, but also, the importance of engaging with our community, because as Dr. Houston says, it is VA care, and we know that you expect us to provide coordinated care and coordination with that. And I think it's important that you all are, not only is it VA care because we pay for it, but you expect us to know what's going on, when it's going on. We rely on our community partners in the healthcare system as well for that. So I want to thank Mike for being on the line. But Buzzard, I'll go back to you. Thanks for letting me interrupt.
I was just making the point that you've got adversaries, and anytime they have a chance, it seems to me like they blowed out of proportion the fact that VA was going to shut down. If the news media would have said 10,000, I wouldn't have got too excited, but at the same point, that ain't what they said. And that puts
That is true. That is true, Buzzard. That is true. And I think we have some media folks who if it who they kind of say, if it bleeds, it leads. What I'd say is we have a lot of adversaries, but we have a whole lot more friends. And they're on this call and in the room with y'all.
But I was going to bring that up because it hit me like a ton of bricks as it was. And of course, how do you fact check this stuff other than go to the source? And that's what this meeting's about. These are the type of things the community needs to correct when there's misleading or whatever. And there is quite a few individuals aggravated about not having the team doctor. So, and if that's July the 15th, we've got 7 doctors coming in.
Yep.
That's the type of news that we need to spread around them, because it has been a long time, specifically for the gold team. I know that Hawker was one of the oldest in years of being there, because we do have a turnover we have to live with in all your positions.
Right, Buzzard, thank you so much for that question. That was a timely question. And So Mortimer, I know you pointed out Mike Diener on the line from Adina. We also have Jenna. I'm gonna butcher your last name. Legore from Ohio Health in the room with us. So yes, these community partners at these public facilities are very important to us and are there making sure that our veterans get the timely care they need. So, all right. Any questions online, Tom?
Sir.
All right, floor is open for any additional questions. Any of the VA staff need to add or clarify anything?
I have one again.
I know, sounds positive. We got Buzzer.
I don't need that really, do
You
I?
probably do.
I was sent to the Wright Patterson for ear, nose, and throat. This is just an example. Some of the things that come up. She was concerned and that I'd never had a PET scan, so she ordered one. Of course, that was approved, and they found some things. They're doing some biopsies. But the point I'm trying to make is she wanted a lung doctor there to review my records and et cetera, and wanted to put in a consult for me to see that lung doctor, which was in-house right there at Wright Pat. Well, apparently the VA has not approved it. They said that if I need to see a lung doctor, that I'll see one that's at Adina named Ruggles, and I have no idea who it is or whatever. But again, that spreads out the lady that's going to do the evaluation, the doctor overall, has to rely on somebody other than in-house or whatever for what her questions were concerning it. So I don't know why they would be turned down.
After the meeting offline, how about you and I talk and let me connect you to somebody who can help you get to
But
right?
this is just an example,
Okay.
you know, the consult was not approved. And they said that if she wants me to see a lung doctor, I need to see the one at Adina.
I think we can work on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does sound like the standard process for that. It doesn't typically matter to us percent.
Every now and then these things just pop up or whatever, and people let it go or whatever, and if you aren't aware of it, you know.
Well, we appreciate
We're working to improve our connection, our collaborations with Wright Pat. Matter of fact, we have established what we call the Buckeye Federal Healthcare Consortium, which is the VAs in southern and southeast Ohio. So our south central Ohio market facilities, as well as Wright Pat. The director in Dayton, so my counterpart there in Dayton, is actually leading that group or co-chairing it. And we're trying to open up more doors to services within Wright Pat, so that our veterans can get that care when they may not normally be eligible for DoD care. So Dr. Houston will connect with you offline, and I'm sure there's any number of explanations. Most important thing to me, Buzzard, and I know I speak for my colleagues as well, is that you get the care that you need in a timely manner and the best quality care you get. So we're going to figure out how we do that. But again, our number one concern is the well-being of our veterans. And we think that we, and in concert with our community partners, whether that's Wright Pat, whether that's Adina, Ohio Health, Holzer, Marietta Memorial, all the different groups we connect with, we can absolutely provide that high quality care. What I'm hearing from you, though, is you would like that as much as possible. If Wright Pat's providing that care, keeping it again in-house as much as possible rather than fragmenting it anymore. We're going to work with you on that. So thanks for bringing that up. And if you've got that concern, I'm sure others do. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. You're doing a good job, Mortimer.
You know what? It's easy to do a great job when you got great people. And I got 1,629 of them. So, by the way, one other little fun fact, we did our all employee survey, and everybody knows that. That's why I got put in the dunk tank. We had 87.7% of our staff respond to that survey. Now, whether they want to tell me I'm all laid up and doing a horrible job, but that we had really, really good participation. I'm proud of our team, and you all see it every day. So.
You know what the results of both surveys are? We think we need to do another survey.
Well, I think what the results of this survey is going to tell us is that people love their job. Their job is more than just a paycheck, that they would like to see us improve in a number of ways. But overall, I think our staff are going to tell us that they're pretty happy with the service they're able to provide to veterans and the place they get to work. Because we know that's what our veterans say. What are we at? 92%, 94% satisfaction and trust in the Chillicothe VA. So we know that's what our veterans are saying, and it's pretty easy to be a staff member when you've got that kind of support from your patients.
Yeah. Well said, Mr. Mortimer. All right, folks. Down to our last 2 minutes. No further questions online? Well, we will give you 2 minutes and 10 seconds of your day back. Folks, we appreciate you joining online. The next stakeholders meeting is going back to the Chillicothe VA. Will be September 26th, and it will be 11 a.m. in the Recreation Hall, Building 9. And so I'll be reaching out to some organizations to see if anybody wants to provide refreshments or anything for that. Or more appropriately, I'll be working with Jamie to do that, so I can keep myself legal, right? Get good side eye, so I gotta get in line. So, all right, so September 26th, and then post that meeting, working on the charter for this stakeholders meeting. And what that's gonna do is we're gonna be able to forecast exactly when in the year these are gonna happen. That way you guys aren't getting it. I mean, we get them out 2 to 3 months in advance, but I know a lot of your schedules fill up. So we're actually going to set some hard timelines for when we're going to hold these meetings. We're going to try and stay away from June, July, and August. And that way the fairs, festivals, and vacations don't give us a low turnout. But more to come on that, and we'll get those official dates out to you once we have that charter signed. So with nothing further, folks, have a great day. Thanks for joining, and be safe.
Thank you.